Premier David Eby appears to have softened his opposition to another oil pipeline through BC. Here's what he told CBC's Rosemary Barton when asked about the gulf between Alberta's Premier, who is pushing for another bitumen pipeline, and BC's stance.
I think it's a simplification and not quite right to say that I've said no. We've supported Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan with a trade corridor from Manitoba right through to Prince Rupert. It could include energy projects. It could potentially include a heavy oil pipeline project.
What he is opposed to is any federal cash to pay for one. On Wednesday, Eby twice refused to say whether he would support a second oil pipeline through BC if it's privately paid for.
I won't speculate. There is no project. There is no proponent.
Alberta Premier Danielle Smith insists there is one.
We've been in active conversations with many pipeline companies, and I feel like we're pretty close to having either one or a consortium come forward.
Some First Nations leaders and former politicians say they're concerned by Eby's stance.
With Premier Eby's new tone, if I can say that, on pipelines, you know, we do see a shift, and it's notable.
As a former MLA, I criticized his shifting stance on oil and gas.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has promised to make Canada an energy superpower by fast-tracking nation-building projects. But Carney says he will not ram through another oil pipeline unless there's consensus among premiers. BC Green interim leader says Eby is walking a difficult line.
I see somebody trying to play along with the Build Canada rhetoric.
Enbridge, the company behind the scrapped Northern Gateway project, tells CBC News it would only explore a new pipeline if there is, quote, provincial and federal legislative change around climate policy, approval timelines, and Indigenous participation. Katie DeRosa, CBC News, Victoria.